Hi, welcome. My name is Vicki, and this is
Dawna,
Donna.
and it's your time.
And it is your time. It's
And
your time to discover something new.
and today it's your time to meet Kim Flowers, who has a vision and who has different modalities and is a teacher, which is wonderful. So yeah, so hi Kim, say hi to
Hi,
everybody.
Donna. Hello. Hi, Vicky.
Hi,
Good to be
Kim.
with you both.
And yeah, Kim is another of Anne's Angels, and we met in Carefree. And see, there are many of us. There are so many of us, and most of us do something that has to do with healing. Surprise. So, and this last week, Anne and the Angels was saying that we need to step up our game and know where we want to go, what we want to do. So Kim is here to tell us. She said she has a vision, or you can start with describing your spiritual journey to get up to the vision, whichever you like. That would be.
Sure. I mean, it's all kind of intertwined. So thank you for having me on and allowing me to share. I'll start with when I was a child. I was definitely a very sensitive, empathetic child, but loved school, loved writing, loved everything about it. And at the time, like growing up, I was just painfully shy, didn't think I'd ever actually be a teacher. Went to college and majored in English and loved it. And I feel like that was part of my spiritual journey, actually learning through the masters, learning through like Emerson and the Transcendentalists and William Blake. There's so much spirituality in those texts. So that really was kind of the ramp for me to start my journey. And I had kind of a transcendent experience when I was early high school with not my own near-death experience, but the Embraced by the Light book really touched me. And I felt like I was experiencing that in real time through that text. So just, I was always a seeker, always curious. And um, the way it kind of progressed is I graduated college and had a breakdown, didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I had been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis my senior year in college, and just it upended me. I didn't know what to do from that point forward. So I worked for the state of Washington, did some other jobs, got married, started having kids, and still like never really knew what I wanted to do. But I poured myself into being a mom, being a wife, and just through synchronicities, like life happens, I ended up as a health coach. And one of my clients said, there's something called healing touch, and I think you'd be good at it. And so, as it happened, her mentor and the teacher of Healing Touch was like my neighbor over my back fence.
Oh,
So, just we
of
nearly
course.
could reach hands through our windows. Yes. So, I took her courses and loved it and loved that modality. And it really is similar to Reiki. And around the same time, I was also becoming certified in life coaching through IPEC, which is the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. And that was also a part of my spiritual journey because I didn't realize how much that was intertwined in just the elevation of consciousness and how releasing judgment creates the highest levels of consciousness, things that I had just hadn't learned in my upbringing. So that kind of cracked something open for me too. So at the same time, I was embracing life coaching and healing touch and seeing how they could both overlap in my life when the pandemic hit. I'm sure we all have a similar story how that changes life too. And my husband's office closed, and I had been born and raised in the same town I was still living in and just, had very deep roots there. But we felt called to move. We thought, we would like to move on our own terms before his business tells us where we need to go. We wanted to have that sovereignty to decide for ourselves. And we ended up here in the Phoenix area. We love Arizona. It turned out to be one of the most fortuitous moves because I have met the family of frequency through Anne's Angels and I feel like the energy down here, being able to go to Sedona frequently has really elevated my practices. But upon moving here, like we barely had moved into our house and I applied for a job at the school because it's the closest thing to my house and I knew my kids were going there. So I started out as a secretary, just thinking, I'll get a foot in the door, be able to serve the community, meet some people. I knew no one. So that was the start. And then once I was in, I realized that I really wanted to be in the classroom. Like enough years had gone on, I'd grown in wisdom and I think confidence enough to say, okay, I can stand in front of 30 teenagers and have a class. So I ended up getting hired to be a freshman English teacher right as my daughter was coming into her freshman year. So she was in my first class. And I did the GCU Leap to Teach program where I was getting my certification as I was teaching. So it's really like building the plane while you're flying it kind of
Wow.
situation. And I loved it. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed teaching in the classroom, but I recognize being on the inside that the education system, it's still antiquated, pardon me, antiquated and getting kind of broken. Obviously, that we are at a place now where life has changed so much and our world has changed, but education has not kept up with it. And
Mhm.
it was hard to being in the classroom trying to embody all this spiritual wisdom that I have without being able to share it, because of just the parameters and the barriers that are placed in public education. So I did what I could. I taught The Alchemist and taught about Plato's Cave and all these things that I felt like had a spiritual component without being too overt. But after a few years and having last year, my son was in my class as a seventh grader. I felt like I had checked all the boxes that I got to teach both of my kids in the classroom, and I had, you know, created so many great relationships with the other students. But the door opened for me to leave at the end of last year. And so this next year, I'll be homeschooling my soon to be eighth grader and home with my daughter who's graduating her senior year in February. So I have this gift of this year of stepping outside of the classroom and kind of making it what I want. But I really have a vision of wanting to help more people one on one because I think that's where I'm best suited. And so through teaching and coaching, that's what I want to build in an umbrella I call Grow with Mrs. Flowers because that's
I love that
people
name.
call me.
So
Yeah.
neat. Yeah, I love it.
Yes.
Wow, that's so neat. And it's developing, it's still in development, and that's what you're doing
It
during.
is. I'm keeping it a bit on the back burner because I actually had a call with Lisa Wetzel, the Akashic Records lady on YouTube. If you follow her, she's amazing. And she gave me the guidance to just wait, just pause a little bit and not proceed quickly. I think I'm giving myself the gift of this year to really focus on my children in this time that I have with them. And then I'll plan to really launch that at the end of next year or after next school year.
And
Wow.
I think as far as the energy goes, that is going to be more of a propelling type of energy into new
Right.
things. Right now we're into we need things have to change. We know things have to change. And it's going into so many different like education, medicine, and
Finance. Yeah.
politics.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so many things have to change. So next year I think is the real propellant for the
Mhm.
change to happen.
Right. And astrologically, end of
Hmm.
February really is that critical time of all the change coming together. And so that's the
Hmm.
other piece that I love to overlay with everything is astrology, where the planets lining up and how's that most fortuitous. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm fine to just have it out there as, a space for if people want to contact me and get to know me a little bit more or work with me through exchange, like that's fine. But I'm grateful to have it as an idea right now to percolate and allow it to have more time, to marinate before it
Yeah,
fully.
and supposedly that will also give you more time for people to come into your life.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And this is definitely a time of, well, my guides are saying August will be a time of rest. It's kind of, because of vacations too, but just spiritually, I think even that so everybody's kind of needs to really remember to slow down and breathe. And wow,
Yeah.
February, that's really not that far
Yeah,
away.
because it's been such a hectic half of a year.
It
Yes.
has.
It's just one thing after another after, we need to take the time
Hmm.
to
Yeah,
allow all this stuff to start integrating within us. Yeah.
that's incredible. So you do have clients with your hands-on healing, right?
So,
Or have that.
not currently. So as people request it, I have trained through level 4, but I'm not fully certified through level 5. I need like 100 hours more of practice. So if anyone wants to work with me to help me get those hours, that's kind of mutually beneficial. So I'm open for that. That was something that I had put on the back burner while I went into teaching because I really needed to give all of my full energy into teaching, and I just didn't have time for healing touch. So I'm still part of a barter circle for coaching too. So I love coaching. I love integrating both of them because I feel like as standalone modalities, they're both very powerful. But if you bring it together and can ask those empowering questions, then also do the healing work, like that has a multiplied effect.
Wow.
So can I ask, like, what is healing touch? I mean, I kind of know, but I don't really.
So there are different techniques that we do through healing touch practice, and some of it is hands-on healing where we are using energy flowing through us. We are just a conduit for source. And so being available to check in with chakras and feel a person's energy field and where there might be holes, tears, snags, what feels, just a lot like out of alignment and what might not be fully coherent in their field. So helping to integrate and bring it back in so that all of your chakras are fully open and vibrant. And it just works in that etheric body so that you can then heal physically through through your field. So there are many different techniques. Chakra connection is one where I start down at the feet and I'm moving up through the chakras and just intending energy and feeling flow as I go. And generally in a session, I'll do two or three, no more than three techniques because it takes time. Like each position, you kind of wait and you feel into the energy and you let it get to that point where it's settled before you move on to the next. So I love it because it's one of those things where you can let it be spirit guided and spirit directed
Right.
and not have to think too much about it. Once you
Mhm.
know the techniques, you can just let it work through you.
And you can do this remotely.
Yes, that's one of my favorite things actually. And people say, I don't know how it works, but it really does.
Mhm.
I use a proxy, which when I was working with a remote client, he knew without me telling him that it's a giant stuffed rabbit. He's like, I feel
Oh,
like
that's
I'm a
so great.
rabbit. Like, yep, you are.
Oh, wow.
And so the bunny just gives me the places on the body where I'm working. Obviously it's just a stand-in for the person. But I've had such great testimonials of people having healings or, it comes later. Sometimes it takes days or weeks, but then they'll just let it integrate and say like that really made a difference. So that's why I love doing this work. It's mutually beneficial because the client is healed and then I also get the benefit of having that energy course through me. So it's also healing for me. And so it's
Mhm.
one of those things, it's win-win. You have to love it. And so like when I take distance clients, it really is as good as if they were in person because as we know, time and space doesn't really exist, right? Or it's
Right,
not what
right.
we've been told it is.
Well, I feel personally that it's better because there are no distractions. I'm in my place where, this is my space and this is where I work. So when I'm working, I don't do the same thing that you do. Mine is shamanic healing, but I think it's the same kind of energy work, really.
Mhm.
It's all the same. And I
Mhm.
think it's all Reiki. I think it's all the same thing. It's just there are different ways of doing it. And some people, it's easier for them to do it on a rabbit, going through that. But no, but seriously, I really think that there are no other distractions and that the energy is immediately exchanged.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
I think so. And that's what I tell people who say, "How can you do that?" From far away.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's great though. And that's something you will do if, when you are, or you'll do right now, you're looking for guinea pigs then.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd like to document my hours and then move through the fifth phase of it is very intensive. It requires putting together a binder and going to see my own healers, and there's many steps involved in becoming fully certified. So I've now learned everything I need to learn. It's just the application and getting that certification, which now is a goal I'm picking back up again now that I'm stepping back from the classroom.
That's so great. That's wow, what a journey. Everybody has a different journey. I love it. So, and
Yeah.
you were saying that recently you went on your own journey to Sedona
Yes.
and got to have was it like a private session or is it a group session?
There were about 14 of us.
Was it
So
a retreat type of thing?
it was a retreat. It was
Ah,
a long weekend.
okay.
And since moving to Arizona, I've just decided I need once a summer to go to a retreat in Sedona. Like it just recenters me. Last year I went to see Greg Braden and he is amazing. That was
Oh,
a phenomenal
wow.
retreat. Yes.
Yeah.
Learning his, DNA studies of that our DNA is actually written within us, that God eternal within the body. That's like if you look at our DNA, that's what it says. So great takeaways from that. But this year I decided to see The Alchemist, which is Sarah Alcaldi. And it was funny, I discovered her when I was teaching the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I just was searching into YouTube, looking for videos and things to teach, and she popped up, and I'm like, oh, she's, mystical and spiritual. I love this. And so when I saw that she had a retreat open this summer, I jumped on it. And her retreats are small and kind of exclusive. You have to apply, you have to, go through a vetting process. So she doesn't just accept everyone because it is small and very communal that you meet together for meals. We ate out at a restaurant one night. So it's not like other retreats that I've been to where you're with 200 or 300 people. And what I love about her, she really goes into the Hermetic principles and just the real ancient mystery schools.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Vicky just says,
Yeah,
huh? I don't know what that
yeah.
is. She thinks I'm
Hermetic
boring.
principles,
She says
platonic solids.
I'm boring when I talk about those things. Yeah. Oh, this is something I have to look into now.
Yeah, so it's the as above, so below, as within, so without, all those things that, we know in theory, and then also being
I
able to
say
see in
them
practice.
every day. Mentalism, coherence, cause and effect, vibration, rhythm, gender. I'm missing one. Polarity.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
And so
every
just
day.
talking about the spiritual alchemy and how we can apply that to our lives. And I really loved the piece from her partner came as well, and she did a meditation practice through quantum healing. I think she goes by the quantum healer. Her name's Sarah, and that part of the retreat was phenomenal for me. Just being able to be in community doing meditation, because I do my own obviously, but just being with others, I think that just is exponentially powerful when you're in a group and doing meditation. So that was one of my biggest takeaways. I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to go. She's doing it again this November in Sedona. And so if you want to look at her website, she also just had a new series come out on Gaia. While we were there, it was uploaded. So she was
Oh,
very
cool.
excited. So
Yeah.
I recommend that too. It's Mystery Teachings.
That's great. Yeah, I will definitely look into that. Wow, that's exciting. Because I am self-taught. Everything that I'm interested in, I mean, I've taken online classes and things like that. I studied many classes with with a shaman. That's not to say, but they don't give you a certificate. They give you a mesa. That's a different kind of a thing. But anyway, but yeah, that would be really interesting to be with someone who's been on Gaia would be.
Right.
I'm a fangirl. Yeah.
Well, and another powerful component of it is there was a Native American shaman there who led us in a tea ceremony. And that
Oh,
was something I've never done. I think that there are certain things that you can only do in a group of spiritual people, like-minded people. And that was one of those things that just brought us together in community. And just the ritual of it, it was so beautiful and so powerful. So just being able to experience something like that, I really enjoyed.
that is really nice. And the idea of so many people together of just like when we were in Carefree, the
Right,
energy there was incredible. So yeah, I totally hear that. Just the energy in Sedona by itself is,
right.
unbelievable. But yeah, it's so neat. And so she just has this, so she doesn't live there, does she? Or,
She lives in California, but I think she
okay.
does the retreats a few times a year just
Okay.
to get
Okay.
out and see people. And the retreat space at Sedonia was gorgeous. It was where Vicki and I had gone when we saw Veda Austin, which was
Ah,
another phenomenal thing. Another blessing to be here in Arizona to have all these great speakers just in our own backyard.
really? Oh, wow. That's fantastic. And this is really great. And I felt when I spoke with you at the luncheon that we had a month or so ago. It's probably longer than that, but I'm old, so I feels like yesterday.
What's
But
time? Right.
yeah, the last time, and I just felt like a kinship as a teacher, I guess, because I've always, although yours are teenagers, which to me that's a big step up. That's I'm I'm too childish, I think, to be able to do that. I like to be with the little kids. So do you feel that I mean, have you ever taught any younger kids, or has it always been the teens?
It's funny, I actually started with babies and toddlers. Like I've kind of been a teacher along the stages of my own children's journey. So I began as a music teacher doing music together
Oh,
when my son was just really little. And I loved that. I love just the joy. Yeah, the little ones have so much energy, so much like radiating love and positivity. So that was just so much fun. And I also did Montessori teaching through when my children were middle ages, like 3 to 8, did some Montessori teaching as well. So I've kind of taught every age along the way and just landed in high school when they were in high school.
oh, okay. Wow, isn't that fortuitous? That's really great.
Did they ever give you any guff?
Um, my son, not so much, a little bit. My daughter, not at all. It was funny, the first day of school, we just kind of looked at each other. I was standing up, kind of introducing myself, and we just looked at each other like, this is surreal. Is this happening? Am I really your teacher?
That's my mom.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, but it was fun. She loved having a safe place in the school to come to my classroom and eat lunch. And,
Oh, that's
I
good.
tried to make it a safe place for all students. So
Mhm.
they kind of came in and immediately felt the presence. I covered up all the fluorescent lights and I had a fireplace that had colors. So didn't
Oh,
necessarily bring out heat, but it was a flame of color. So I often had the violet flame going. And I think students just kind of felt that. So one of the things that I instituted is above my door, I had the word peace. And I told them it was a portal of peace. And as they entered, they became more peaceful. And so I actually had students check each other when somebody started amping up. Kids would be like, hey, we got to be peaceful in here.
I
oh,
love that.
oh,
Yeah.
that is great. That's so great. And well, obviously they had super respect for, just the place, if not you. That's wow, that's incredible. So I love the energy that you carry and on your own, but when you add all of your accomplishments, I know you're not that old. So I just wow, I'm so glad to see younger people than me that are so far along in their journey, and the jargon you use, I still don't know all of this. So I have to, look into this. So that is so great. And I thank you so much for sharing all this with us. And you said you have a website. We can put the website in the description or in the comments of the video. Is there any other way that people contact you or just
That's really the best way for now to kind of find out who I am a little bit. Right now, there's not much there, but I plan to build it out over the course of the year. And of course, if they want to work with me for Healing Touch, help me to get my hours, I invite that. I would love that. And just this community has been so warm and welcoming, and it's been one of the joys of moving to Arizona to connect with both of you and all of Anne's angels.
yeah.
God bless Anne for the work that she's doing with the angels.
Yes.
Oh, definitely, definitely every day. It's so great. So yeah, so well, thank you so much, and we
Thank
thank everybody
you.
for watching us today, as we do every day, every time. And I love you both, and we'll keep doing this. If you know anybody else that wants to, let everybody know
Yeah. Have their moment in the spotlight.
yeah, let us know.
Of course.
Okay, all right. So, everyone, thank you for showing up today for It's Your Time, and it is your time to find what makes you sing. How about that?